Okay, so today I want to talk about what do you do to figure out how much cement all and water you need for a mold that you've never done before. So, sometimes you get a mold and this comes in, you brand new. I've never used this one before, so I don't know how much cement all I'll need for this. There's no instructions that come with a mold, you kind of figure it out. So I'll put it on my scale. And I like to weigh the mold itself to see how much the mold weighs before I start. This is just for a reference point for me. So make sure that your scale is at 0. I'll put the mold on. This mold weighs about 474 grams. That's just for my own reference. I'll zero out because what I want to find out is how much water it takes to fill this mold up with. So I'll just fill this up with water. Right up to the top. And that's pretty well filled up. So as you can see, it takes about 251 grams of water. So let me dump this extra water on here. Because I need to take this off the scale without dumping water all over the place. So I'm going to come back a little bit. So what I like to do, I like to use my little container, put it over it. I gotta do this quick because I don't want to make a mess. I'll dry my scale back off. Okay, because we don't only need the scale for that first part. So we know that this thing takes 251 grams of water to fill it up. But we're not filling it up full of water, are we? We're going to fill it up full of cement all, and I'm using the standard 4-to-1 cement all mixture. So we know that the water is 251. So we do the 251 times 2 equals 501 or 502. 502. So we know that so this 502 equates to 4 parts cement all and 1 part water. Okay, so if we take the 502 and we divide it by 5, because there's 5 parts here, we're going to have about 101 roughly. Okay, so keep in mind these are some rough numbers because we don't really know what's going to fit in there. So if the one part equals 101, which is your water, then the remainder, the other 4 parts, which is your cement all, it's going to equate to about 400, but just to keep the ratio straight, we're going to go 404 cement all. Okay, so we're going to see how this works, because we need this 4-to-1 ratio here. So whatever this number is, that number's got to be 4 times. So that really is going to equate to 505, which is a little bit higher than the 502 we came up with, but it's not a big deal at this point. Okay. The main reason it's not a big deal is because we may have to tweak this a little bit when we get done. Okay, because this is an estimate right now. Once we pour this mold and see what's left in the mold, then we're going to tweak the number a little bit to get a little bit closer to what it really should be. So this first one, we're going to need, we got our little mold here. So we got our 404 grams of cement all, our 101 grams of water, and you already figured these out beforehand. because I wanted to have this ready. So, and we're going to do a black and gold today, just to do a black and gold, because it's the first time I've used this mold. So we're going to see what we got. So let me put my mask on because I don't want to breathe this dust in, which means you will no longer be able to probably hear me. Okay. We need our pencil. We're going to need this later. And we're going to need a scale later. So we're just going to do a standard little mix here. Nothing funky. It's just a 4-to-1 mix. I'm going to see how well our estimate worked. And I've not used this mold before, so we're going to see how close our estimate came with what's going to fit in that mold. And this is a vase mold I got from the UK. I wanted to try some of her vase molds. And I also have one that I have not done yet, which it's a another incense holder. So that one's still in the package. I'm going to do that one after I do this one. I'm just making sure that this stuff is thoroughly mixed. That's pretty good. Because I got a bunch of these molds from Devon during their after Thanksgiving Black Friday sale. So they came in December. And I been chomping at the bit to use them. These are pretty thick molds, so we're going to see how this is going to work. I took the mask off because there's no more flying cement dust, so I don't need to worry about that. That looks pretty good. Put that in there. And we're going to do our typical, my standard little black and gold one, because I like doing the black and golds to start with. So this is a pretty thick mold, so I'm going to do a lot of color. Roll off. Roll off. Okay. Okay, so, you know, standard stuff here, nothing funky. Go to mix it in light, just to get it so there's no big old globs of color. Use my little wooden skewers. Put that over there. Let's put this in here. The inside's still a little wet. I really don't care. Not gonna make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things that I'm doing. So we're going to pour this right down the middle because I want that color to spread. Tap this down a little bit. I'm not going to tap it down a whole lot. Let's work this little bit down. Okay, so that actually worked pretty good. Not much here left. We'll do a little weigh. So let me slide this over because I don't want to mess with that as it starts to set up. So we get our little scale back out. I'm going to come down a little bit so you can see the numbers. So we get our little scale back out. So if I weigh this to see what's left, there's not going to be a whole lot left. So this weighs 44 grams. Now, it weighs 44 grams with the container, the simmental, and the water that's in there. Now, my container weighed 15 grams. My container weighed 15 grams, and I have 44 left. So 44 minus 15. So there's 29 grams of simmental and water in there. So if I have 44 grams left, I'll get this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So if I have 44 grams left, 15 of those are the container. So that leaves me with 29 grams of simmental and H2O. Okay. So I figure I got 29 grams in here. We're going to divide this by 5 because we want our 4-to-1 ratio. So if we look at that, we just do the math easy. So if we do 30 divided by 5 is 6. So you have 6 grams of water and about 24 grams of simmental. So if you got 24 grams of simmental, not a whole lot laying left in this container. You can probably tweak this down a little bit. Maybe instead of using the 101 grams of, the 404 grams of simmental, try with 400 next time. Or try with 395 to see if we can tweak this up so there's not as much waste, okay? So this is where you take your starting point, which was the 404, and say, well, I have about 20 grams in here. Let's cut it in half, and let's, for the next test, instead of using 404, we take 10 off that. So we use 394 simmental, or 395, or whatever number you want to use, some number between the 404, less than the 404, and then you take this number here, you're going to divide that by 4. And you would use about 99 grams of water. This is where you got to tweak your mold until you get a comfortable number of where you want this mold to go. I'll probably do 395 just to make the math easier. So I would probably use 395 and then 99 the next time I'll do this to see how close I am. What you can't do is go to 0. It's impossible because you're going to have stuff that's going to stick to the sides unless you want to use a spatula and that kind of stuff to get every little piece out of here. I try to get my numbers down to within a 1% to a 2% waste, you want to call it, and what's left on the container. So if I look at a 1%, I'm looking at, even at this 400, That would be 4 grams to 8 grams of wasted simmental. That's my 1 to 2%. I'm an accountant, so I'm good with numbers. So wasting 8 grams of simmental is not a big deal to me. It's like a half of a teaspoon stuck to the side. It's not that much of a big deal. So the next time I'll probably do 395 and 99. So this would be my new formula, and this would be my test number 2 to figure out what this is. And once I get this all figured out, what I want to do, then I'll create a little card for myself that says, this is the number I'm going to use. Then I figure out what's my 5% colors, my water ratios to get everything done. So next time I want to make this mold, I just pull my card out and say, this is what I need. Okay, I don't need to worry about writing it on the mold. Don't need to worry about remembering it, because I probably have 100 and some different molds, at least. I'll be a couple hundred different molds. So you would lose track. So, you know, this is where keeping track of what you want to do saves you hassle in the end. So you spend a little time up front to figure out what your numbers are going to be. And then whenever you start to put this mold into production and say, I'm going to make 5 of these or 10 of these or 50 of these, you pull out your card and say, that's what your numbers are going to be. And off you go. And I do this on all the molds I get in the end. So that's it for this one. I'll demold it and tack it on so you can see what it's going to do. I have this little reed diffuser thing right here. Never did it either before, so I'm going to do another little video on that one. And see what we get and do the same thing, same process, walk you through the same process. It's not that hard. I don't like to wing things. I prefer to know what the numbers are. Make sure I have enough product on hand, so I make sure I have enough simmental on hand. And then I get everything set up, do the pour, be done with it. So that's it for this one. I'll put the demold on it later. Okay, bye. Okay, let's see what these look like. Our test ones from this morning. That looks cool. That is cool. It's a vase. Bottom looks pretty good. I like that. I like that.